In 1993, the Copper Development Association commissioned a research study targeting a pipe repair method that threatened their entire market. The method required no copper, no soldering, no plumber. It had already been adopted by the United States Navy for their aircraft carriers, and it cost under $3 to perform on a residential joint. The study did not find that the method failed. Instead, it raised selective safety questions, obscuring a technique the industry had a $28 billion reason to suppress. The method is two-part epoxy, and what the plumbing industry spent decades trying to make invisible, the Navy spent decades making irreplaceable. Welcome to Survival Lost Vault. This is where we open the vaults the industry welded shut. If that matters to you, subscribe and hit the bell. To understand why epoxy threatens a $28 billion market, look at what was at stake in 1988. The Navy commissioned a sole source contractor to line the pipes aboard USS America, one of the most complex vessels ever deployed. The carrier had 800 linear feet of drain pipe running through the hull. Replacing it in a dry dock meant weeks of lost deployment. Instead, engineers lined every foot of it from the inside using a blown-in epoxy coating. No excavation, no cutting, no welding. It was so successful that it became standard procedure for every new aircraft carrier commissioned after that. By the time the USS George H.W. was christened, 39 American naval vessels had been lined with this patented system. Not patched, lined. Permanently. The Naval Sea Systems Command eventually declassified a report titled Restoration of Drinking Water Piping with Non-Toxic Epoxy Linings, confirming what they already knew. Epoxy applied to the interior of a pipe creates a barrier that lasts 40 to 60 years, costs a fraction of replacement, and meets every federal standard for drinking water contact. The Navy did not invent the concept of lining pipes to save them. They perfected it. The Babylonians used clay. The Romans used pitch to coat the interior of their lead pipes. In the 1940s, American municipal engineers discovered that coating the inside of corroded cast iron water mains with cement mortar restored full flow and stopped metal leaching. No excavation, no replacement, no contractor. Entire city water systems were saved on the principle that the pipe wall itself did not need to be replaced, only protected. Then in 1971, an English agricultural engineer named Eric Wood was facing a leak in an overhead air duct above a mushroom bed. He soaked a felt liner in epoxy resin and threaded it through the damage. The resin cured in place and the duct held. His patent, U.S. Patent 4009063, filed in January 1975, became the foundation of modern cured-in-place pipe technology. By the 1980s, the Navy had taken that foundation and built something no civilian plumbing supply chain wanted you to know about. Here is why. The U.S. plumbing market generates roughly $28 billion a year. The dominant material is copper pipe, requiring licensed installation, specialized fittings, and solder. Every joint that fails is a service call. Every pinhole leak is a $350 to $800 repair ticket. Epoxy dissolves that revenue model at the joint level. You cannot build a recurring revenue stream around a repair that lasts 50 years and costs $3. So in 1993, the Copper Development Association, the lobbying and market development arm of the copper industry, funded research raising questions about organic compound leaching from epoxy-lined residential pipes. The framing was scientific. The timing was not. That same year, the American Water Works Association Research Foundation completed its own 30-day field study on epoxy lining in a 6-inch iron pipe in Chester, Pennsylvania. Their conclusion was clear. Epoxy showed minimal effect on water quality, satisfied every primary drinking water standard, and increased hydraulic capacity by reducing pipe wall roughness. It was a safe, durable material with an estimated service life of 40 to 60 years. The CDA concern study reached trade publications. The foundation confirmation sat unused in code review committees. Building codes continued to require licensed contractors for any residential pipework, not because NSF certified epoxy was dangerous, but because the copper market needed the call volume. Now here is what the science actually says, and why the Navy trusted it with the lives of crews of 5,000 people. Epoxy is not a modern invention. The chemistry was first synthesized in 1936 by a Swiss chemist named Pierre Castan, who was looking for a material that could bond to metal without shrinking, cracking, or degrading under heat. What he discovered was a two-part system, a resin and a hardener that, when combined, cross-link at the molecular level to form a thermoset matrix. Once cured, that matrix does not behave like an adhesive sitting on top of a surface. It interpenetrates the microscopic profile of whatever it contacts and becomes structurally continuous with it. You are not sticking something to a pipe. You are creating a new material that shares a molecular boundary with the pipe wall. That property is why epoxy became the material of choice for aerospace, marine, and military engineering long before any residential plumber heard its name. By the 1950s, fusion-bonded epoxy was being applied to the interior of industrial petroleum pipelines across the United States to stop corrosion from the inside. The pipeline operators were not patching leaks. They were preventing them for decades at a time. The principle was identical to what the Babylonians did with clay and what the Romans did with pitch, except the chemistry was now precise enough to withstand pressures, temperatures, and chemical exposures that no ancient lining could approach. The cross-linking reaction is what makes epoxy permanent rather than temporary. When the resin and hardener combine, the polymer chains lock together into a three-dimensional network with no weak points, no seams, and no memory of the original boundary between the two components. The result is a material with a tensile strength exceeding 4,300 pounds per square inch. Residential water systems operate at 50 to 80 pounds per square inch. The epoxy the Navy applied to the USS America in 1988 was rated for conditions your household plumbing will never approach. The Naval Research Laboratory spent years developing a formulation specifically for potable water contact aboard aircraft carriers. Commercial epoxy resins at the time contained compounds that leached into water under certain conditions. The NRL Series 4 formulation eliminated that entirely. When the Naval Sea Systems Command declassified their findings, the conclusion was direct. Properly applied epoxy lining creates a barrier that isolates the pipe wall from the water flowing through it, stops corrosion from progressing, restores hydraulic capacity, and carries an estimated service life of 40 to 60 years. On a vessel expected to serve for 50 years, that meant one application for the life of the ship. NSF International Standard 61 is the federal benchmark for materials in contact with drinking water. The same standard applied to copper pipe fittings. The epoxy formulations available in hardware stores today meet or exceed that standard. The 2-ounce stick sitting on the shelf at Home Depot for $8 carries the same federal certification as the system the Navy patented and deployed across 39 aircraft carriers. What changed between the carrier deck and the hardware store shelf was not the chemistry. It was who controlled the information about it. If you have made it this far, you already understand the suppression better than most people who will pay $500 to fix a pinhole leak this week. Now be honest about the limits. Epoxy is the right solution for pinhole leaks, joint failures, and hairline cracks on accessible pipe. It is not the right solution for a structurally crushed section, a leak buried under a concrete slab, or a system failing at multiple points throughout. In those cases, epoxy buys time but does not replace systematic repiping. That requires professional assessment, and genuinely so. But for the 90% of residential pipe failures that are pinhole leaks and joint drips on accessible pipe, the $7 hardware store stick does exactly what the $500 service call does. A homeowner in Ohio faced a pinhole leak on a half-inch copper supply line behind her laundry room wall. A licensed plumber quoted $680 to cut the drywall, replace the damaged section, and patch the wall. She applied 2-part epoxy putty to a 2-inch repair area, waited 90 minutes, and restored full pressure. 3 years later, the repair is holding at full household pressure with zero retreatment. Her total materials cost was $8. The Navy deployed this on 39 aircraft carriers. They trusted it with pressurized systems carrying the combat readiness of 5,000-person crews. The homeowner on your street is still calling a plumber for the same repair because the copper industry made sure she never heard of it. You cannot patent the cross-linking chemistry of epoxy. You cannot create a building code around a reaction that has existed in industrial pipelines since the 1950s. What the plumbing supply chain built was not a technical barrier, it was a knowledge barrier. The only people who knew what the Navy knew were the people charging you to use it. That changes today. If this vault opened something for you, hit like and subscribe to Survival Lost Vault. Share this with someone who is about to call a plumber for a pinhole leak. There is a lot more coming. Let's keep pulling what they buried back into the light.